Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we're going to be talking about Algorand, aka Algo. So let's just dive in and let's talk about a few things. So it's been a very long time since we actually talked about Algorand. This was one of my main gems in 2021. I think that we talked about it. It was like late into like quarter 3 of 2021. You guys got to remember, 2021 was when I did start this channel. So we were kind of late to Algorand, but I think that we got in around like roughly 40 to 50 cents or something like that before it did do its nice little run up. And since then, yes, we have come down and we've tested some nice lows. Also, come on, let's change over to the night mode. But yeah, I think that Algorand is probably one of the, ISO 222 in quotation mark gems that is completely overlooked. I think that when we really kind of look at some of the major, tokens in this space, I think Algorand itself is a very special one. We've talked about the team in the past. The team behind Algorand is probably one of the most substantial, teams, coming from some pretty substantial backgrounds. Is it like the best team? No, not necessarily. Like we have some resumes that kind of overshadow it, but still, it is, a project that I think is very undervalued. I think that it is something special, and we're going to be talking about why. So let's dive in. Let's talk about a few things. So in the last 7 days, when we look at the Algorand metrics dashboard here, we did see about 3 million transactions. Total addresses 26.6 million. Nodes about almost 1,500. TVL about 200 and almost $60 million worth. Total ASAs about 5.5 million. Committed algos to the governance about 3.8 billion. Latest block time is about 4.28 seconds. And yes, this does continue to update on, basically every second or so. And then we do see like the average transaction fee, which is a fraction of a penny. And you can actually look at the protocol, you can look at the developers, you can look at the decentralization, all that kind of stuff, like even on-chain value, which, yes, this is going to continue to drop. I mean, we are in a bear market. Like, there is no doubting that. But when we actually look at Algorand, it's funny that we are sitting at 31 cents. And I think that right now we're actually sitting around like a little bit less than that. The market cap is $2.13 billion. I mean, like, think about how laughable that actually is. And the circulating supply for Algorand is so low compared to most, that like I honestly would argue that Algo probably has some of the best tokenomics out of all the ISO gems. And when we look at like the volume is, decreasing, market cap decreasing, price decreasing, things like that are decreasing, which is actually very good if you are in this space for a long term. And you also do see the value of Algorand. But you do see like all of the asset values, NFTs, value locked. Like they're very transparent on like everything. You even do see like the TPS sitting at about like 12.1. Peak transactions a second in the last 7 days was about 934. Don't know what was being tested that day, but you do see like some of the transactions on like some of the high days are about like 1.4 or so. You also do see like the transaction fees extremely low compared to like most networks out there, but you love to see it. And again, like all of this is fully transparent. You can see everything on the chain for anybody who is new to this. If you don't know exactly, how things work on Algorand. If you go to metrics.algorand.org, you can basically see all of this. And I think, for some of the main tokens in this space, like transparency goes a long way. And I think that when we look at transparency, Algorand is probably one of the most transparent projects out there. Now, let's actually talk about Algorand. So, I don't like to do just like market cap comparisons to some tokens and really kind of go off of things like that. I more so kind of look at the value behind some of these tokens. Like, do I think that Algorand is worth $100 billion in market cap? I would argue that it is. When we look at some of the other tokens in this space, like, like a lot of the stuff in this space is moved off of speculation. The funniest one that we've seen was Dogecoin during 2021. We hit about 74 cents in, our all-time high. It was about 98.1 or .2 billion if you want to round up. And again, like when we look at Algorand and we look at it at that market cap, this would be a 45x. We'd be sitting at about $14.24. Do I think that that is, a level that we could hit? Sure. But do I think that that is a conservative level? No, I do not think so. Long term, do I think that that is conservative? Yeah, sure. But if we're talking about like the next cycle, is $14 going to be the main target? It's hard to say, and I don't want to get anybody's hopes up or anything like that. If we look at the max, like I think our all-time high was nearly like the $2.50 zone almost. It was like $2.40 some cents. At $2.40 some cents, we only had a market cap about 16.5 billion. Now, if we're looking at this and we're seeing where we can go from here, I would say like 2 times this price at about like a $4.80 zone. That's something that we could really kind of target, which would be about a $33.1 billion market cap off of just like what we are seeing on the actual dashboard. Now, again, do these price predictions even mean much? Not necessarily. I would say that, like, don't get caught up in price predictions. Just have your own end goal, your own targets, because that is really all that actually matters. But let's actually look into Algorand. Let's see what they are doing. So first off, I just told you guys in a few videos before talking about like Casper, HBAR, even XRP and stuff, that community growth is huge for building up hype, for building up marketing, for building a community that is going to be here during hard times like the ones that we do see right now. Funny enough, like I don't think that people respect the community enough around some of these tokens to understand the value that a community actually does, drive around specific teams, around specific projects, etc. We do see from Algorand themselves saying, are you ready for Algorand's biggest event of the year? Tickets are now on sale for Decipher 2022 happening in Dubai, a great area to really kind of focus on, especially for, a crypto capital, if you will. But yeah, I think that this is great. I think that this is going to be great for a lot of growth, for a lot of marketing. They're going to be running this for about 2 days from November 28th to the 30th. And you can get your tickets now if you guys want. But I think that this is going to be great for, as I said, community growth, really kind of building up some hype, building up some marketing. Do I think that it's going to be, substantial for like, token growth and stuff like that? Not necessarily, but it doesn't matter, right? Because we're buying this thing on the low end. We're buying this at undervalued levels. I mean, a $2 billion market cap for what Algorand is doing is completely laughable. We shared with you guys on multiple occasions the team behind Algorand and what they are doing, and it is a very substantial project. Also, right? Don't forget all of the partnerships that Algorand does have with some leading sports teams. We do see over here, thanks TechCrunch for taking the time to talk about sports. And again, like I said, when we look at community growth, a lot of these partnerships with these sports teams are great for community growth. In fact, there's still a lot of individuals that don't know about, crypto and about a lot of these projects. And by the way, no, I'm not a member of TechCrunch, so I'm not going to buy this or anything like that to actually see this. But I'm just saying, like, a lot of these major teams, a lot of these major, even exchanges have partnered with a lot of these major sports companies, and it does build a lot of hype, a lot of, it brings a lot of eyes to crypto in general, right? Even during the Super Bowl, right? With the Super Bowl ads, a lot of it was just to build up hype, get more eyes on crypto itself. We did see Coinbase even crash during that time from so much individuals like kind of moving in on crypto and really kind of seeing what it's all about. But Algorand is a big player behind this that is getting in on the sports area. And I think that this is a great area to actually jump into to not only build up a lot of hype, but also to get a lot more, individuals to your platform to see what your platform is about, even possibly invest in your token as well. And I think that this is an area that is completely overlooked, like I said, but it is great for, community growth and to build up some hype, and Algorand definitely is positioned perfectly in that area. Also, talking more so about growth and community building, Australia Zoo. Again, a major, this is like a major, I would say, area to focus on as well as like wildlife, more so kind of like sustainability. They do have 275.5K followers. We do see Australia Zoo is excited to announce the second series of our sustainable NFTs in partnership with Meadow Labs. Built on Algorand Algo Foundation, the world's first carbon negative blockchain, Warrior Koalas, will be released on August 23rd at 9:30 p.m. Again, another great area to look at is real-world applications around NFTs with major partnerships like this. Not only does this provide you a little bit of an insight where Algorand is positioned for like, sustainability, carbon negative sustainability, stuff like that. Now, are they the most sustainable? Not necessarily. We talked about this with, Hedera. I'm not trying to compare them or, do anything like that. I'm just saying, sustainability is a big area to focus on, and Algorand definitely is up there as, a leader in that space. But also, partnerships like this are great for more community growth and to get more people to look at the project. And I think that this is awesome. And a lot of people even say, like, no. We do see, like, yes, it's true that koalas are, on the endangered species list. We raised over $100,000 for crocodile research and conservation. Now we're supporting our furry iconic marsupials on the world's first carbon negative blockchain, Algorand. And yes, I think that things like this are awesome to see because NFTs for the longest time have been touted as extremely unsustainable for the environment and things like that. Also, do not forget that DeFi on Algorand is absolutely, skyrocketing in TVL and value. For an example, we do see secure access to Algorand DeFi is live on Fireblocks HQ. Remember, Fireblocks is a leader behind the space. They do have connections to 1,300 of the largest institutional players that are out there, and they all leverage, of course, Fireblocks to get in on this space. They have a direct bridge to get in on crypto. And talking more so about DeFi and TVL, TVL is down a little bit, as you guys do see, but even going back as far as 2021, so we peaked a little bit back in 2022 itself at about 73 million, and since then we have been continuously growing. Funny enough that this is still through a bear market. Remember, we are in a bear market, and a lot of the growth actually did start back in 2021, like back in October. And the funny thing is that we peaked during January, but ever since then we have been skyrocketing in TVL being locked up, which you love to see. And we even do see Algo, Phi dominance is about 41.30%, which is, again, pretty substantial. And you do see what is holding the most TVL. It's Algo Phi holding about 87.6 million. Folks Finance holding about 76.28 million. Lofty holding about 23.9 million. And remember, there's so much happening on the ecosystem itself. Again, another area to look at. It's fully transparent. It's over on the developer portal, developer.algorand.org. Here you can see why people are building on Algorand, why Algorand is perfect for a lot of these major use cases like tokenization, smart contracts, all that kind of stuff. We do see get started with Algorand, and we do see the basics of it. I don't need to go in depth on a lot of this, and you guys do see them breaking down everything, even around stocks, bonds, and even real estate, SDKs, all that kind of stuff. And then down here is where you do see the actual ecosystem, and of course they do mention a few around just some of the use cases. But when you actually look at the ecosystem itself, very substantial amount of names here, as you guys do see me just kind of scrolling down the list. These are all the ecosystem players, and I do believe that we will see a lot more growth around this area, and all of these account for value. First off, the ecosystem is the key for a token success. All of these projects launching new use cases, building out new, projects, things like that within the ecosystem are key to not only build a lot more volume value growth, but also more even, communities within the Algorand ecosystem itself. And like I said, with all of this growth, with all of this, with all of these updates, with everything that is happening on Algorand, I just don't see how this thing doesn't hit at least a $50 billion market cap going forward. I think that is on the low end, of course, but, again, that's my target. It doesn't need to be your target. You guys do what you want to do. Do I think that $50 billion is a little bit low for what, we do see some predictions of the crypto market going to? Sure. But again, having a conservative way of looking at this market, it's the easiest way to not only capitalize on, profits, but it's easy to take the profits because you don't have these major high targets in mind. And again, this is about roughly, it's a little bit over, 3x or so from its all-time high, or somewhere around that region. So I could see this being, conservative, realistic, etc. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments below, though. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on. If you guys have more free content, you guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter. Enjoy the video, scroll down in the description below. As always, up to you all. Have a beautiful day, beautiful night, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. It's been Nick. Peace out, guys.